Hi, and welcome to the Senior Network. I'm your host, Greg Fulton, along with my co-host, Debbie Lyons.
Hello, good
Great
to see you.
Long time no see, right?
I know it.
Good to see you. And of course, Carey Babcock, Pruitt Health Home Health.
Good to see you.
And Nona Story, the Cypress of Hilton Head.
Good to see you.
And we are actually here in my home today, right at home.
It is
Welcome.
fantastic. It's been
Glad to have you
beautiful. Yes, thank you so much. It's been interesting. I hadn't seen you for a while.
Well, you've been traveling and
Yes,
family and all. And we were talking about aging parents earlier, and I know that you've been dealing with that.
I was just talking about going to an Aging in Place conference a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it was really interesting. And talk about options, opportunities, home health care. It was phenomenal. And I think as we're all getting older, a show like this is so important because there's so many things we think we know that we didn't. And I was really curious about kind of talking about home health and some of the things that you all do.
Yeah, and I think what we're finding, I know you are too, is in the community with the aging population, there's a lot more of reaching out to us.
Yes.
Just like you just
I
said.
did, yes.
Asking, how does this work? How is it going to work down the road? Which we love, talking about that because the more you pre-plan, I know we've had attorneys on the show before, and obviously they're always about pre-plan. So Carey, is going to that point. I know that you guys, they do a little more medical side than like Right at Home does. Tell us a little bit about the services, like what does OT and speech and all those kind of things mean to people?
Yeah, what does the medical side mean?
Well, at Pruitt Health Home Health, we have occupational therapy, speech therapists, physical therapists, and skilled nursing.
Oh, wow.
So we're part of the very important piece of the continuum of care. And typically, with the way our healthcare system has worked in the past, patient gets sick, patient goes to the doctor, patient goes to the hospital, gets better and goes home.
Okay.
Well, typically there's a lifestyle adjustment or something that needs to be done, whether it's medication adherence. There needs to be continuing care at home to make sure that the patient is following through on their medications, following through on the doctor's instructions.
And he doesn't go back to the hospital.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. Right?
Yeah, and with the new CMS reimbursement models for hospitals, they're going to get penalized if there's a readmission within 30 days.
Oh.
So we fill that gap there where we can go to the patient's home, evaluate and assess the patient at home, generate a care plan for the doctor to take a look at, and then treat the patient.
But how does that work? So my mom is in the hospital and she comes home, and they suggest that we get home health to come in. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And then we call you. We have options and choices.
Well, typically the doctor will write an order for home health.
You have to have the order.
Yeah.
got it.
Doctor
Okay.
would write an order for home health, and we would follow up immediately with the patient, and we can get care in the home within 24 hours, depending on what the doctor ordered, depending on the patient's condition. But what a lot of people don't know is that when the patient, and oftentimes it's the adult caregivers, the adult children who help out the patient, they can inquire.
Us.
They can inquire, ask the doctor, would we be a good fit for home health? And that's a good thing because when the patients and their caretakers of their adult children start to step in and take more control of their health care, everybody benefits.
I think what's interesting to me is, as a daughter, and you and I have been talking about this, or daughter-in-law, I feel like my role is to be emotionally supportive. That's my role. That's what I do.
Yep.
I'm not a physician, and I don't know home health. I'm not skilled there. So what you're saying is I can be proactive and help manage their health care with professionals who know what they're doing.
Yes. And oftentimes what I think we do a good job of is the education piece. Because you can send a nurse out to somebody's home, go through the motions, whether it's dressing a wound or checking their blood sugar level, whatever that needs to be done. But typically there's some education that needs to go on with the patient and their family so that they understand why it's important to check your blood sugar several times a day, or
What to expect? What is this going to look like? What can I anticipate? Why do I need OT, PT? What does that even mean?
Right.
I think to your point as at the beginning, I hear words like OT and PT and all of that, but I'm not sure a lot of us know what that really means. OT, I assume, is occupational therapy, activities of daily living?
Yes.
So what does that look like?
Getting from the a wheelchair to the toilet.
Okay.
That's occupational, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
And then physical therapy, of course, is usually working on a certain part of the body that needs to sort of be rejuvenated a little bit.
Rehabilitation.
Yeah, exactly. I work at the Cypress, as you know, and so, you know, we do have a skilled care facility, but we also have home health. So for folks that come out of the hospital and don't need to go into skilled care, which they could at the Cypress,
Okay.
we also have we have about 100 employees that just work for home health, and so they'll come into the home and you know, based on doctor's orders, and help folks kind of adjust if they just found out they have diabetes or, you know, something along those lines.
Who are the navigators for this? Is it the doctor?
Typically, you have discharge planners and so forth in the hospital. So when somebody's going to be discharged, those folks' responsibility would be to work with someone like Carey or whatever to get it lined up, the services and those types of things.
And I know this may seem like a dumb question, but I've always wondered about how you select home caregivers. Do you develop relationships with your patients and their caregivers?
Yeah,
How does
it's
that
a little
work?
different from a home care, home health. Home health is more task-oriented, skilled-oriented, so they're going to have nurses that basically go out and do a task and leave. Home care is the folks that she's talking about too, that the Cypress has and right at home, where they're really there for that activities of daily living. So, you know,
They're
those
nurses' aides, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And those personalities matter. So that's a great question, because that's when you really up front have to try to get the right employee, like from a company like us, with the right patient, so that they have that communication, that trust, that personality that they like, and work with them that way.
You know, we're going to take a quick break, but I'd love to come back and continue this discussion, because I think the navigating piece and knowing what we all, you know, not me, but what you all do is so important for all of us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.